Hey everybody, DayTraderRockStar here, and this is the high probability watch list for the week of October 12th. It's Columbus Day. The market will be open. I will be here broadcasting live. Man, what a great week we had. The HPS setups this week were outstanding. They're continuing to make profits. I'm taking profits today and a lot of different things. We'll go over that. I also just picked up some more Galway metal. We'll talk about that, but that's really looking good too. There's just so much I want to talk about on this video and get you prepared for next week. Now it is Friday. I usually jump on, start my video as the market is open. I usually with about an hour left, and it's just it's coming up on 3:30 here. Futures are higher. They're up 28.50 right now, and this is again. They're still negotiating on the stimulus. It's expected to come. I think the market's kind of pricing this in a little. The election is still in front of us. Some of the corona stuff has come back. We have the same situation. We have a very volatile, very touchy market that can react pretty violently or quickly on any type of news, especially surrounding the relief measures. The vaccine also is coming. That seems to be promising, and yet that still is overhanging us. And you have the election, so you have all these things that are kind of playing with the market. But the market continues to show good strength. It's not selling off, and that's the big thing, because before the election, typically the market will price in what it expects. How the market is pricing in. It's it's going out to about 3 months and showing you what it expects. And in this case, a positive market is pretty much predicting a Trump victory, as he is more stock market friendly. So it doesn't seem to be worried about that. Even though all the polls are coming out, all the polls are saying, Biden's ahead. The market has not recognized that or played that card yet. And maybe it's because we know that polls are unreliable, and it just seems like things are going to be getting better instead of worse going out. All right, so let's get moving here. Here is the GWM Venture stock, and again, I talked about it a lot on the show today. We were in this stock back here in June. I got the call on it around 50-60 cents. We got in, and right at that point, it started running nice. It moved all the way up to about $2, and since it's come back to about $1, close to $1. Started picking it up the last 2 days. The story behind this, again, I discussed it on the radio. We have some information that, looks good for the company going out. The plan. Involved in gold mining, can't really go into too much on the video. Just let them know that we're in this one. All right. Also giving us a divergence setup. This looks really good. All right. This looks really good. This is the venture shares or Canadian shares. You could, if you don't have this symbol on your platforms, a lot of people don't have it, like Ameritrade or Thinkorswim. Interactive Brokers has Galway, and I just go with the Galway metals on Interactive Brokers out of the Canadian. But you could actually find this listed on the pink sheets, and you probably have access to it, called Galway metals. Same exact price. I mean, not the same price. Same exact chart. Same exact reaction. Just two ways of trading it. So it's $1.05. It's actually a little cheaper. Well, relatively when you look at it, But that's Canadian. This is U.S. So they're the same. But the IB converts, you buy the Canadian dollar, it does the exchange for you and stuff. So here's just an easier way to do it. GAYMF. Looks great today. Starting to head back up. I added to it today. I just posted that in the room. And I know it's a penny stock. I know it's a cheap one. But I also know some other things about this which look really good. So for me, it's worth an entry, and nothing, nothing's guaranteed. But this is, I'm not letting this one get by me. All right, All right, so taking a look back at last week's watch list for this past week, we reviewed some of the entries. I want to go over them because they really will help with your trading going forward, and how I picked some of these setups and how they're moving out from it. It's just kind of review here, and this is what gets sent out. It was kind of just a little breakdown of the what's on the watch list, and I'm just going to kind of review it here. Stocks to focus on the list next week's Bill, CVS, 4, TAP, HII, Boeing, Smith & Wesson, ADT, plus more. So that was all there. So you'll notice I did take a lot of these positions. I actually took TAP that day, new position in TAP. I added to the ADT also, sold some Walmart and stuff, and then ended up starting to sell some of the net. We sold the rest of the net today, NET. But I wanted to show you this. So let's go over a few of those charts and just kind of see how they reacted. Market's actually popping as I speak right now, pushing back up. We don't know, there's going to be a stimulus coming out here soon. Before the end of the day, it's about 3:30. It's a tough one, The one other thing I wanted to mention, and I don't want to get sidetracked, is the hurricane that's heading down or heading towards the Gulf Coast there, Louisiana, Alabama. Let's just hope everyone stays safe out there. But I've been feeling like this is going to be a pretty devastating hurricane, and we deal with this all the time. And we do trade some of the hurricane type of stocks like Generac and stuff. This is a pretty serious hurricane coming down the pipe. Does it have does it have a possibility of moving the markets if it was too much and they had to put people into shelters like they did that for a hurricane? What was that big hurricane down there? But you know which one it was. So, and that would cause a spread of the virus. It's an interesting scenario that could play out. I just don't know how it's going to play out. So it's heading directly into this. It's supposed to be a devastating hurricane. Stay safe. If it's real devastating, do we see a gap down on Monday? That was my question. Are we going to have, all this money that's going, or how much money we're going to need to, throw down here for emergency relief? Will this be will this be another factor in the markets going forward? Typically, it's not. Typically, we get through, but just say, they could say this thing could be bigger than they expect. Tornadoes spawning from it, goes in deep. It's real strong. We keep an eye on it over the weekend. Market is not really reacting like it is going to. Oxy here pulling back. I don't want to get sidetracked. I just wanted to see what was going on here. All right, let's start with the TAP. With a lot of these that we just talked about, the CVS TAP 4. Let's take it. We have Bill on the screen. It hit its target. We have CVS up there. It's hit its entry level. TAP is on it. ADT is on it. HII is also on the watch list. All those things that we mentioned, you have the chart right here to identify your buy levels, your sell levels, your profit zones, and your stops. So just kind of review those for a second. Just a fast little review to show you how they set up and why I got that out. This was a good support, resistance support line. Came down. We tagged it once, twice. We started holding on to it, gap down through it. So I figured we get through that one more time. The downward channel, the double bottom, everything here looks pretty good on this. This is the TAP. Remember TAP. So we got in that, and take a look at this. We came right up here. We hit our profit zone even before I expected it. Very fast move. It still looks pretty good. It's just about, we usually consolidate on this line, maybe pull back a little before moving high, but it already got into our profit zone. It already hit its mark and hit its target, and I took that one off on full profits on that one. GD, General Dynamics, didn't really even look at this one this week. It was on the watch list, but I probably would have looked at it if we hit our maybe our entry zone. GD here, let's just take a look at what happened with it. I had a little entry zone underneath it. It was X marks the spot. I think it just never got down there. It started off, it gapped up, and it's kind of moving up here. So that's why this has continued to be inactive and in the watching stage. in the watching stage here. It says watching right here. That means it hasn't hit its entry triggers. CVS though, not a bad one. And again, this is why the real good ones get written up here, and you get a nice picture of what they look like. CVS, same thing. You had a nice divergence here, a little pullback into the divergence, and off to the races. So right when you have that divergence, you're going to just kind of look for maybe a little 50% retracement back into that low, the divergence low, and then off to the races. And we'll probably hit that, we'll see. This is on the daily, so maybe next week we might hit the target on that. That is a really nice CVS health and a perfect divergence. Divergences are what we're about here. If we got a decent divergence like that, then I'm gonna put it on the watch list. Now I hear the market here reacting behind me. I hear a lot of popcorn. Let's go to it fast. See what's happening. Nothing really happening here. Heard something there. So a post here. Trump set to host an in-person event this Saturday despite evidence of COVID outbreak at the White House. This guy's he's out of control. He's out of control. They're going to come and lock him up. IP. All right. Let's go back to those charts. Let's see here, CVS, and then Bill. Let's see Bill here. We took the trade in Bill. And we bought the Bill October 105, sold them for $1.03. So we did take this trade. I just took a call into this. It's a very easy call. Boom. Hit our target. Just took off, as you can see. Broke out, and that was our target area. And now it's still at the highs of the day. It looks pretty good. But another one that hit its target. And then ADT, I've been calling this bottom in this one. Down here in this $8 level. Added to it. Continue to hold it. I like it. I like the level down here. Now this is after it's gapped down. We reset this thing up. Right down here. This was an original. Never really hit our buy trigger. So when it gapped down, that's why it's inactive still. But I'm still holding this. It actually came out with a secondary or cash raise here. Drop down. It's chopping around. If we look at the other charts, ADT, we look at this chart right here. You'll see that we're right on that 200 period moving average, and we're chopping around it. Still looks fine. It's a small stock. I don't put too much into it, and I'm not really that the low on the list here. HII though, we crushed this one. I was in this one a couple times, and I still have a bigger target on it, but it moves pretty fast. So it's chopping around. Finally broke out, and now just on its way up. It hasn't hit its target yet, 153. I'm sure that's going to happen next week. Profits on 155 actually, 155 to 175. That's a big move. See, small compressed candles, probably overdue for a big explosive move here. I like that. Still looks very good. It's active. Still like it to the long side. HII, UNH. Just been watching this one. Not much going on. I haven't traded this at all. It eventually hit our entry level. It's breaking out right now. It's actually in a good position here. First time break into our buy zone. Let me make sure that triggered. That triggered, right? That should say green on it. Yes, it did. It's green. UNH meaning green, meaning it's active right now. CCI. This was a trade from a couple weeks ago. Again, it's still the same thing. Just underneath our target. I mean, that counts. It all counts. It all counts. Crown Castle. Important thing is understanding downward channels, where the stochastics are, where you're going to kind of get that breakout. In this case, we're looking for that breakout through the downward trend line, through a little candle over here, pop, pulled back, and now we definitely broke through. I mean, if that pulled all the way back into our stop, that would be a shame. But I'm not in that one anymore. We took profits on that on the pop. You don't have to stay in anything. You don't want to. This is an old one. This is the last one that really stopped out, and I'm sure it's still higher. And I like to go back and review these sometimes just to see where the charts are and stuff. See, this actually dropped off and slowly coming back up here. So that was one that did not play out. I didn't get in that one. And then it goes down. It shows you the other ones. You could go explore. EXEL is still active. UNH. It's, we've been in it. Workhorse is an interesting one because it says it's watching it, and it never pulled back to, I ended up starting to trade this, but I put an alert out here early on in the game looking for a pullback and then a bounce. Well, I just heard today look, we never got the pullback. It just chopped, and then it bounced, and then today we actually have a big day in it. So look at that. That's pretty interesting day here. Oh, I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if you can see any of these. All right, so that's the updates. We do have some ones that are still active. I do like this HII a lot more, and I did mention the GAYMF, even though it's a penny stock. Love it. There's a new one, so I want to just go back to the thing here. This is kind of shows us what we did during the day. Like I sold some net. All these could be. This is all in the archive. So we bought 4 FOUR. Still holding that. That's at the highs of the day right now. See, we sold the Hill for almost $2. And all the trades. So you could always look back at this. Just recently, if we go all the way up, this is updated. I just bought 500 more shares of the GWM. Sold the rest of our net. Sold another more IP, which popped this morning. Got $1.15 on that. Sold some more. So I still have the puts going into next week, October 16. I have some, just three SPY puts, just in case there was any bad news. Kind of as a little hedge. But it's going against me. That's the only thing really not really working out. But I did get back into the HII here, which I do like a lot. So I did step back up on that. The Oxy, I still have 5 on that, and I have my JP Morgan going into next week which I like, excuse me. So that's kind of an update on what we did this week. Now we're going to go into some new things that are setting up